All right, welcome back everybody. It's been a couple weeks since we had a video. I've done a ton of marking for all of your projects. For those of you getting them in on time, very nicely done. And your projects have been great. People are handing in all kinds of different ways and creative ways of completing their projects, and that just makes it fun to even do the marking, which is good. So the ones we've done, your ecological footprint. A couple weeks ago, your ecological footprints were done extremely well. I enjoy that some of you gave like podcasts describing them, some of you made websites, some of you did all kinds of different ways of presenting that information and just trying to be creative, because it also makes it interesting for even you guys to do the project, because you're even learning a new skill while you're completing the project of, getting the knowledge, but also getting a new skill if you try different formats for presenting that information. Because that even, side tangent on, we've been doing this now for a year, right? Hopefully over the course of the year, you've developed a couple more little digital skills over the past year, right? You gained some knowledge, but hopefully your digital literacy skills are also increasing. That if a teacher asks you to do something, a project a certain way, you'll be like, yeah, okay, that sounds good. Because you'll know you'll be able to handle it on whatever device you're using, right? Maybe you've become an expert on how the iPad works now, or maybe you're using a desktop computer, which is always good, right? Gives you a little bit more accessibility. But you guys have been doing a great job lately. I'm very impressed with everything that's been coming in. So nice work. With your sketch notes last week, sketch notes were very well done. Those were also enjoyable to look at because once again, people were using and this is one of those examples where, I said even draw, if you did type out the paragraph, that is fine in your description. And some people did hand draw it and even bring it in and submit it, which was nice. But say you were thinking, it's like, I don't want to hand draw it. This was a great opportunity to try to use some of those different formats to present that information, right? A picto chart. Where it's creating a visual, but you get to make the visual online. Look like a lot of people even used Photoshop, if you're a person that has Photoshop, to kind of create the different layouts. But once again, awesome one to see that people were presenting it in different ways. For this week, it is going to be a little bit of a shorter week, because this week we're going to be doing the Minds On in Action, which means your final project doesn't have to look as fancy as a final project, because this is going to be a portfolio submission, but you are completing the Minds On and Action section. And then the following week, we will be doing the consolidation, right? So if you are a person who kind of wants to work ahead, because it is going to be a little bit of a shorter week, that if you want to start to look ahead to see what the following week is, it will just be the consolidation for this. And this upcoming week, we're going to be looking at invasive species. And the Minds On in Action goes over the invasive species that are in Ontario, and it lists a number of them. But for your final consolidation for it, you're going to have to pick a different one that's not listed. And one that isn't listed, but one that I have around my property, which is an invasive species, is the stink bug, right? Sometimes I'll see this bug and it's like, what is that? Right? And you look it up and it's like, oh, it's a stink bug. And you can see in Ontario, it's a nuisance problem, which I would say is what it is. Where, sometimes you'll see a certain type of bug maybe around your backyard or on your property. Even, this last week when you were looking at a smaller little ecosystem, maybe you looked at a little ecosystem in your backyard. And since everything is starting to thaw, maybe you saw a different kind of bug and you're like, what type of bug is that? Maybe, it got to that level where you're like, I'm going to look that up because it looks different. And I had that same thing. So around my property, it was like crawling up the wall. It's like, what is that? And then I looked around, invasive bugs in Ontario. In this one, it had the date. What was the date? I was looking it up just now. Let me go back. It was in like the 90s. Where is it? Oh, 1998. So in 1998 is the year, and it started in Pennsylvania, that it is supposed to be over in Asia. It's supposed to be over in China and Japan. And, it probably hitched a ride on something we were shipping over here, brought it to Pennsylvania, and since it discovered a new area, it just started to flourish. right? So that is what we are going to be looking at this week. We're going to be looking at ecosystems and flux. And that is the problem with, transporting products, right? When we're doing a lot of our agriculture, when we're bringing crops in from all over different parts of the world, right? There's bugs in soil, and those bugs hitch a ride to different parts of the world that they're not supposed to be in, and then they start to flourish, right? Because they develop a new ecosystem. Maybe they were from a colder environment or a harsher environment, and now they're in this different environment where they start to flourish and they take over, right? The big one in even, which we talked about in grade 9 was even, the carp down in Hamilton Harbor, right? Carp are bottom feeders. And that's why that fishway is there, right? You probably took that field trip in grade 7 and 8. We're at the fishway down by Coots Paradise because we're trying to keep the carp out of the area because they're bottom feeders. It stirs up all the water, and then nothing would grow, right? The light wouldn't be able to penetrate to the bottom. So we're going to be looking at invasive species. For this first activity, just click through it. All good stuff there. Please do it. And that's why I kind of give you the extended time, because I actually want you to, take a day and, click through the actual things. For the invasive species, it gives examples of a couple of the invasive species. A nice little video on our Great Lakes and the different things that are in our water system now that once again are not supposed to be there because we ship all around the world, and ships from all over the world come here, and different marine life hitches a ride. It is this part right here. So there is no direct questions within it, but you're going to complete this activity as you go through it, looking at them, and you're going to put a rating system or a ranking system on which invasive species you think is the worst based on these characteristics: the physical environment, the local community, is it having an economic impact, and the potential for spreading. You're going to try to rank which one. And then you're going to just explain why you felt your ranking was appropriate. So it's a little bit of a smaller activity, and once again, you can write it in this box. Generally for these things, I don't enjoy writing it because when it goes to finish, you got to take a screenshot of it, which you totally can do. But I would recommend just clicking through it, but typing it out on a separate document, and then it'll be easier. And then just add it to your portfolio. For the consolidation section, this one once again is asking you're going to create some kind of a campaign, right? So if mine was the stink bug, I would maybe be making a logo or a banner and trying to inform people of why we need to get the stink bug out of Ontario. And then at the end, make sure you meet the requirements and submit your work to the Dropbox. But this we will not do until next week. But if you want to work ahead, it's within the same section, so you could start to look ahead and complete that one. Okay? All right. Awesome job with the work that is coming in. Very impressed. It's too bad I don't get to see you guys a little more often, because this course is fun in the sense that you do get the freedom, but when we'll say we're usually in school, you drop by and we get to talk about your projects a little more. So it's kind of unfortunate I don't get to see you to kind of be like, that was awesome. But just know I am thoroughly enjoying the projects that are coming in. So nice work. I will maybe give a short update next week, but it is the consolidation that we're going to work. And I'll see you in a bit. All right. Great job, guys. Send me an email if you have any questions, but talk to you later.